Hello and welcome to this new episode of Continuum Gaming, and in this episode we are going to talk about the new update that just came out for the, not in the EA channel, so the early access channel, but in the real one for everybody more or less. And that one is the 50076 in this case, there is going to be a 7.7 because of this update. We are talking about that later on, but in the end, those are the ones which are going to be there at the moment, and I didn't do these updates till now with none of my devices. And what we will do in this episode is more or less, I'm going to show you how to do an update, and we are talking a little bit about the update, what's going on, what's about the 7.7, 7.6 one here, and stuff like that. Just to let you know, this update is available for all still supported SFOS devices. That means even the 32-bit devices are going to have this update, and there's a pretty big thing in this update, which is pretty astonishing if you ask me, for that they can even port that to the 32-bit version anymore. I don't have one of those smartphones, so all of my smartphones, the Sony Xperia 10 Mark III, Mark II, the C2, which I have with Sailfish OS on in them, don't or are already 64-bit, so even the older ones get this kind of update, and it's a pretty amazing one if you ask me. So let's see what I'm talking about here. You already can see it, AES level 13 telephony stack update, and some VPN stuff and some internal stuff, of course, is going to be happening in this update. If I move along, we can see this is now my Xperia 10 Mark III, so the violet one, whatever, is the 10 Mark III in the end, and that one is getting, of course, all the updates because it's one of the newer devices. I'm just going to shut off everything you see here. You see I'm just using that as my daily driver, so a couple of things are open, but we are going to really get rid of everything. For that, I'm just going to long press on the smartphone screen anywhere, and then I'm going to go to the upper drawer menu there and hit the close all button more or less. If I do that, everything is going to be shut down and we can just start as normal more or less. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, so how do you get updates? It's very easy. You go to the settings in the end, so the settings app, and in there you just scroll down a little bit and go to updates for Sailfish OS, or Aktualisierung für Sailfish OS in German. And if you click on that one, then you are going to be presented with this screen. As you can see, he already knows that there is an update. If he wouldn't, you could go up here and have a look at that item there. Please search for updates more or less, and then you should see which kind of update is available for you already. So in this case, 50076 is available for my smartphone. The 7.7 version I talked about is already out in early access, but I'm not in the early access channel, okay? If you want to be in the early access channel, there's a small little caveat to that. In the end, the problem about being there is that you only can be there with your whole Jolla account. So if you have a Jolla account and you want that one to be in the early access channel, which you have to have for the early access channel, then you will have to put all your smartphones in that Jolla account to the early access channel. And since I'm using my smartphone as a daily driver, I can't really do that, or I would at least have to get another Jolla account to be able to do that. And that's just not how I operate here. And so I'm just going to use the normal access channel one, so the one that is really available for all the customers, and not the C beta channel or the early access channels, but only the real one. Okay, so as you can see, we have now this update. In this update, you can already see, okay, it's 610. Sorry, I will have to fix my orientation here. So the update will be 610 MB of space, or more or less what you have to download, of course, to install this. And I'm just going to do that by just checking first, very important, that you are only in your Wi-Fi. Make sure that you are in the Wi-Fi with this kind of sizes. That's a good idea. Otherwise, you are going to lose your data, more or less, of course. if you have any kind of situation where you don't be able to use Wi-Fi for that, of course you can use your LTE connection or your 5G connection or whatever too. That's all fine, but I don't want that. That's the sole reason I'm going to do be there. Very important, if you have Google services installed in your app support, you need to uninstall those before updating. Just to let you know, I would never do that because one of the biggest reasons for me to use Sailfish OS in the end is that I want to get away from Google. So I'm not going to install this kind of stuff. They are not talking about micro-G in this case, just to let you know. It's all about real Google services, so Play Store in the AAS. Because yes, you can do that if you really need to or want to. You could install the full suite of Google into the AAS. And AAS, of course, stands for Android App Support, if I didn't mention that before. I'm not sure about that. Okay, so first off, let's start with that. And I'm just going to go and download it. So in the drawer menu, just go there and there is herunterladen or download. And I'm just going to click on that. And now it will take a little bit of time. What you already can see here, you can see it here, there's this small little brighter bar you can see there, and that one is more or less your progress bar. So downloading or whatever is going to be happening at the moment is going to be shown by this progress bar there. At the start, it's not going to be very fast or something. That's very, very normal because there is the update notifications and there is going to be communications between the Jolla store or the Jolla server in the end and your smartphone and stuff like that. So give it a little bit. Perfect. Smartphone got into security mode, whatever. And give it a little bit after a while, it should be faster. But still, it's 610 megabytes, so it will take a little, okay? That's just how that is going to work. Same thing, I already got to my C2 in this case. I'm just going to show it to you here. You can see hopefully, if there's not too much glare on my camera there, you can see that that one has the same thing. So in the end, we can download it here too. I'm not going to do this at the same time, just to let you know. Otherwise, sometimes if you have a lot of different devices, for instance, and you're trying to update them on something, maybe the server is going to react to you and says, no, sorry, you have too many connections, you will have to wait or something. And because I'm, of course, using my Sony Xperia 10 Mark III, in this case, this smartphone, as my daily driver, I'm just going to update that first and then after that the next ones, okay? Same thing for the Sony Xperia 10 Mark II in this case. This is the turquoise version, more or less. It's just the ambience, okay? It's the same smartphone, more or less, or it's not the same, but very equally looking smartphone. And because of that, I just got a different one here. As you already can see, there is a notification for me. Hey, there's a new update for your smartphone available now up there. And you could click on that one too, or you are just going to do the same thing as we did before. You're going to go in here, you're going to search for your settings app and just click on the settings app. And if you do that, just scroll down a little bit at this part there. Just go down to the updates version here. And if I click on that, you will see exactly the same stuff, but with a different highlight color in this case, of course, but everything else should be fine. It's 610 MB2. Even so, this smartphone is a little bit older, so I think it's not running the newest version of Sailfish OS before that. And because of that, it might be that you have to step update, or in this case, we don't have to. It's going to go straight away to 76 in the end, yeah. And yeah, so this is more or less how the process at the start is going to be. I'm just going to check out what's going on here. As you can see, we have now half of the bar here full, means the download is going on. As you can see, this is a progress bar, and we are very rapidly going to there, and everything is fine. Okay, now you can already see it. Hey, we downloaded your update now, and the update is available for installation now. Okay, perfect. So just to install it, just go again to your drawer menu at the top there, go to install. If you do that, the smartphone will shut down. That's just normal and what it does. And of course, I can't show you anything on my big screen here with a shutdown smartphone, but in the end, it's going to have this indicator light there at the top. I'm not sure if the camera can catch it, but it's red at the moment. And that indicator light there will show you, hey, smartphone is restarting more or less. And after the restart, it's going to be updating your smartphone. That can be a multiple steps progress, or it's just one progress, we will see. Smartphone is going to Sailfish OS. I'm just going to change the background a little bit so we can talk about something else here. Yeah, let's go there and go up a little bit. Okay, perfect. Now you can see he's asking for your security code, so make sure to bring that in. In the end, you can't really use your fingerprint or whatever. If you restart your phone for the first time, you will have to put in your code. And then you will see something like this. So there's a progress bar more or less on the screen, which is going to show you how far the progress already is. You can see it, it's pretty fast. Hopefully you can see it. It's a very bright day today, so sorry for all the glare. But in the end, as you can see, we have a progress bar which is going to go on there and which is going to fill up sooner or later. And then the smartphone is probably going to restart again. We will see that. It's pretty fast for a 600 MB update, if you ask me. Really, really smoothly going, as it seems. Yeah, we are close to through already. But as mentioned before, I don't know how many steps we are going to have here. In general, it's only one, but there were occasions where it was two. We will see what's going on there. If it's fully filled after a while, then it's not a linear progress bar. That's normal for most of the progress bars too. But as you can see, we are going to see a progress there, hopefully sooner or later. Yeah, it's still working. Pretty fast, if you ask me. I had a couple of updates before which were much, much slower. So don't be afraid or whatever if it's going to be stuck for a little while at a certain point. That's normal, just give it time. Make sure that the power supply is connected to the smartphone, or make sure that the smartphone itself is fully charged or something. I made sure that it's pretty charged up, which is a good thing. Because sometimes in some of the progresses or some of the states the smartphone is in, they can't charge the smartphone at the same time. That's sometimes just the case. Okay, he's restarting again. I just felt a vibration. He's going to tell it like that, and there is the next part. And let's see if it's already through, which would be a very fast run for 610 MB, but can be, of course. I don't know. Okay. Yeah, I plan to lay the smartphone to the side or something and talk about the update in between, but seems like I don't have to in the end. Seems like it's going to be very fast this time around, and we can do stuff like that afterwards then. Okay, perfect. So give it a little bit of time to boot up again. There we are, and we have our new the security question again, whatever, the pin. So I'm just going to put it in. Give me a sec. Okay. And in the end, it's a dual smartphone, so we are going to have to put it in a couple of times probably. Give it a little bit of time to boot up fully. At the moment, everything is just black. Hopefully it doesn't stay like that. That would be a bad sign. But in the end, it can be at the first startup take a little bit of time. That's normal in this case. But give it a little bit of time to do that. Okay, perfect. There we are. We have the SIM pin stuff in here now. So I'm just going to put in both of my SIM card pins, which is important for that one then. Okay. Both are in, and we are back to Sailfish OS. Okay, perfect. Then let's, do you know what? I'm just going to check first that it went through. We can do that by just going to the settings menu in the end. again, and going to the part where we saw it before. So I'm just going to swipe down again, go to the settings here and see what's going on there, and he tells me, hey, the updated version is now available and is on your smartphone. That's perfect. I'm just going to lay that to the side, and maybe we can do, for instance, the installation on my Xperia 10 Mark II then too, because why not? That's the oldest one I have. Same procedure, we are just going to go to the download section up there. I'm just going to hit that. He's going to start downloading it, and while that one is going through, we can have a look at the update itself. So as you can see, we have a release, more or less log, which is telling us what happened here. So in the end, the last one which was released for all people were the 7.2 update, which of course already was on my smartphone in this case. And that one was the last one for all the people. Then we had two different early access ones, which in the end is more or less like a beta, yeah, it's a beta test one, I would say, where people who are really interested in it can more or less join this kind of channel and go in there, but you will have to expect bugs and stuff like that, and you're going to report them to Jolla if you found something and want that to be fixed. And as you can see, yeah, it was more or less, let's say, yeah, around about 1 month in the early access channel only, and now we got it into the real one, okay? It can be something between 1 week and 4 weeks. That's the normal time span. It's going to be in the early access channel. Sometimes you get a couple of different ones in between, as you can see, maybe 2 to 3 weeks or something, then the next one is going to be there. So perfect. Let's have a look at what is new in this update. So there are a couple of different things, but the most important one is the app support update. It's now Android version 13 running in there. So in general, if you have the Sony Xperia 10 Mark III in this case, for instance, or the 10 Mark II or anything before that, you got a lower Android version number. So in the end, it's in general 11 for the 10 Mark III and the 2, I think. It's for both of them, I think it's the 11 version. If you are even earlier, it can be something like 9 or something, very old ones, okay? And this update now enables everybody to use the Android version 13 support version, which is a much newer one. You will be able to run newer apps and stuff like that, and even the 32-bit devices, as you can see here, for instance, the XA2 and the Xperia 10 Mark I in this case, 1 in the end, are able to run this update with this Android version. And the most interesting thing about it is that those smartphones, Xperia XR2 and 10 for instance, came with an Android version first and you flashed them over, okay? And those never got 30. So that they even got this is pretty amazing, I think. Whatever. At least I think so. I'm not sure if it's officially supported by 13, but in the end, when you flashed them, they didn't have this kind of Android version. That's a pretty interesting thing that they got that to work, but very nice that they did. Okay, so let's have a look. You have a couple of different bug fixes here in there. For instance, we have a problem with the synchronization of contacts in some situations for the app support. If you want that, you are going to decide if you want that and what you want to have in there. Then there is some kind of a search service in browser where they did some stuff in there. I'm not sure what they really did there. I don't mind much because my search engines always worked, but some seem to didn't work, whatever, and now they do. There is even an update for the 10.4 and 5 support in this case with audio recording and stuff like that, very nice. If you use OneDrive to back up your smartphone, I would recommend it to you, so please use something like Nextcloud or whatever. But if you want to, of course, you can use something like so Microsoft's OneDrive or even Google Drive or whatever if you want to. I wouldn't, but hey, it's your smartphone, so you decide what you want to do. More of that, you can't use the percentage character in the device lock code anymore because some people seem to have used that. And That was a pretty big problem because in some situations you didn't see that character in this kind of part, and that's of course bad. So they got rid of that and a couple of other things. So I'm not going to talk about that, that's too in-depth. And if we go up here, we can see more of that. So as you can see, app support had a couple of different updates here. For instance, voice over IP audio handling in WhatsApp, Signal and other stuff was improved. Seems like it was broken in some situations. I never experienced it in a very severe way, but the quality seems to be better now. Same thing with VPN connections, so there are a couple of different updates so that other brands and stuff like that should be better supported with this. And other than that, non-graphical feedback daemons and stuff like that, we are not going to talk about that too much. That's more like a very, very deep in feature. Yeah, if you really like to use that or need to use that, then you already know that this was fixed. If not, it's not for you. Ophono is more or less a telephony stack. That means that, for instance, if you're calling somebody or SMS is involved there too and stuff like that, then this is very interesting. For some people, I never had that problem too, but there are providers which have whitelists and other stuff like that. So there are a couple of different situations where it can be very different with this. And Ophono had a nice little update there, which should in the end help you with a couple of different things. For instance, call forwarding is a nice thing. If you are using IPv6 for telephony stuff, then that might be happening. And very interesting, I had that before, SMS sending issue when voice over LTE was on is fixed now too. So it could happen in some situations with some providers. It's not everybody, but a couple of them. That you couldn't receive SMS if you didn't go out of voice over LTE. So you could go out after that and it would work then. You would receive your messages, everything was fine there. But problem was that if it was activated and you called, for instance, before with somebody before and didn't shut down your smartphone or whatever in between, then it might be that it was very delayed or it was never received till you really got rid of this voice over LTE feature. Pretty annoying bug. Perfect that they got it right now, and hopefully that is going to help us. Yeah, and if you are using mouse, so Bluetooth mouse or whatever with your smartphone in some situations, now you can have that with a mouse input rotation stuff. Perfect. I don't need it at the moment, but maybe in future, I don't know. One very important aspect, okay? Always have a look at the known issues part here. In the end, there is these kind of things which are all for very old smartphones, so video playback might be a little bit less smooth in some situations. Seems to be that that is only the case for Android apps, not for native apps. So if you're using some of the native apps to play something like the native browser or the YouTube, the Python app or whatever, those seem to be working fine, and the other ones are a little bit more, not that performant, okay? They are working, but you might have some frame drops in there. What I read is more or less if you are watching videos on the X82 or the 10, which are 1080p in the end, and at 60 FPS, you will have frame drops if you are going down lower at the end, more or less to 30 FPS or even lower than that, 25 for instance. Those seem to be fine or at least watchable. The upper ones with 60 FPS and up seem to have a problem with that. Maybe it will be fixed in the future. Anyway, they are very old smartphones and people should in the end use the native apps if they can anyway. But yeah, if you run into that trouble, it's a known issue. They are trying to fix it. We don't know when it's going to happen. More importantly, there are a couple of OneDrive parts there, doesn't matter much, and you might get a network signal strength reported lower than expected, but doesn't matter, it's only the reported ones. You can still call stuff and even be faster than before because there was this update about that. But it might be that you get a different kind of displaying information there which is going to tell you, hey, the strength is pretty low. But doesn't matter, it works like it should, okay? More importantly, this one is very important, okay? There is this work in progress stuff. Bluetooth and app support, that's a different thing, would be an own download in the store, and it's not yet there. So we will see that later on, hopefully very soon, but we don't know when. More importantly, this one is one that you should be very aware of. The Exchange Active Sync update, okay? So Active Sync is more or less, if you're using Office 365 or something like that, then you need this kind of plugin, with your smartphone of course. You need this kind of plugin to connect to that, to have calendar entries shown and so on in the native app. All of that is happening in the native app in this case. If you have this, because this is a paid feature, you will have to have the paid version of Sailfish OS to get this. But in the end, if you have that, it can be a problem. And in general, it's not about the update itself, okay? So Microsoft released a couple of new features and deprecated others. And one of the features they deprecated was something that was needed for this kind of parties. So they had to go to a new protocol and include that in the Exchange support there. They are pretty far with that, but they will have to give us another update. And now this is the reason why I wrote this 77 update, okay? Because the 77 update, which is already in early access, as you can see, this is the 77 one in early access, will fix this Microsoft 365 and Exchange account integration stuff for the smartphones, but it's very new. As you can see, only close to 1 day old, this news, and it's in the early access channel. We don't have that in the normal channel till now, but it's probably coming to be available very, very soon. But as you can see, this one might be broken. The interesting part about all this is that it's not broken for everybody. So in the end, Microsoft is trying or giving you wave updates or whatever too, and like that, for some people it just works on and works like it should. For others, it doesn't. And yeah, for those where it doesn't, please be patient. They are working on it and will come out with a solution very soon, probably, because it's already in the early access channel there, and they are just testing it with the community if everything is working like it should. Okay? Yeah. And this is more or less all I can show you in this episode. Of course, I can have a look again on my Xperia 10 Mark III in this case, where that one is. It downloaded the update. I'm just going to install that one now too. So I'm just going to click on that, and this one is going to run through. And here is my C2. Same thing, as you can see, we already got in there. I'm just going to put in my security code in this case. As you can see, we have the same update at the moment here, active too. I'm just going to download this one now. As you can see, I really waited till each and one had more or less downloaded it by itself. After that, everything is fine, but now we have to wait at this part again. But it's exactly the same what I already told you or showed you with my other smartphone, so everything should be fine there. Okay, so let's see what we got here, just to show you everything of my Xperia 10 Mark III in this case. This one already is on the right version there. And what I'm going to check here, because some reported that for some people the information there wasn't updated. So if you go down in the settings app, more or less, to the lowest part here, there is this Android app support one. And if you click on that, you can see now that I am at Android version 13, before it was Android version 11 in this case. And this is more or less what I can see, and where I can see everything, what is going on with my smartphone, if everything worked out. Of course, I would have to test everything else, but seems like it worked, and that is more or less what I wanted to show you in this video. So, other than that, I would say we are through. Go back. We are through with this episode. Thank you for watching, thank you for listening. I hope you had a great time watching this, or at least a couple of different informations which you didn't have before. If you have any kind of questions, comments, whatever, put them down below into the commentary section. I'm trying to answer everything that you can ask there. And yeah, of course, if you didn't subscribe to the channel till now, please do that now. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, of course. Very helpful for the channel. So SFOS and of course Sailfish OS and stuff like that will be more known outside there if some of our channels, which more or less are dedicated to Sailfish OS, are going to be bigger. And then it would be very great if you could leave this kind of information there. Okay. Then, thank you for watching, see you around in the next episode, and bye. Bye!